Welcome back to another video of the Hockey Nation Live Show. Today, it's all about the buyout in NHL with all the rules, so don't go nowhere. Welcome back to another special video of the Hockey Nation Live Show. This is your hockey coach guru, Coach Frenchy, back in the booth for today. Listen, today I want to talk about the buyout is going on in NHL. We know now the team can buy out any players at that moment. And I want to talk to you about the rules, how this works, and what you need to understand about the buyout for players in NHL. So that's where we are here today. So let's dive in right away about that rule. But before we start, we want to remind you we are 94 days before the season 2021-22 will start. Every day we're going to bring you with videos. We're going to remind you how many days we have before the puck drop for next season. And today is 94 days, so we want to bring Corey Perry on the video to remind you 94 days. So let's dive in first of the video. We want to talk about the rules in NHL buyout. So listen. Usually this rule starts 48 hours after the winner of the Stanley Cup. We understand this usually is in June, but because it's happening with the 56 game and the situation with COVID, this rule changed on friendly. But let's start what's happening with that part over there. So the team are permitted to buy a player contract to obtain a reduced salary cap it over a period of twice the remaining length of the contract. The buyout amount is a function of the player's age at the time of the buyout, and a third of the remaining contract value is the player is younger at 26 years old at the time of the buyout. 2/3 of the remaining contract value is the player is 26 and older at the time of the buyout. As explained above, what I just mentioned to you, the buyout is spread out over a period of twice the remaining length of the contract. The team still take a cap hit, and the cap hit by year is calculated as follows. Multiply the remaining salary, excluding the signing bonus. We're going to explain this to you a little bit later, by the buyout amount as determined by age to obtain the total buyout costs. Spread the total buyout cost evenly over twice the remaining contract years. So we're talking about determine the saving by subtracting the annual buyout cost from step 2 by the player's salary excluding the signing bonus. The remaining cap hit by subtracting the saving from step 3 by the player's annual average, the AAV including the signing bonus. The above calculation is performed for each year of the buyout, meaning the buyout cap hit is not necessarily the same for each year. It is also possible that the buyout cap hit can be negative, meaning the team receive a credit. I'm going to give you the example in the next couple of minutes, example like Tony DeAngelo for the New York Rangers. But the biggest thing to remember here, what I just said to you right now, you have two ways. The 26 younger is 1/3, and the over 26 older is 2/3. That's really you have to pay attention. And also the signing bonus is excluded. The buyout period, usually it's the buyout period begin the later of the June 15 or 28 hours after the Stanley Cup final end. It's conclude June 30 at 5 o'clock Eastern time. But now, because it's happening right now at that moment, right, because we are in July, for the season 2021, it's 28 hours after the Stanley Cup winner, and they're going to finish the July 27 at 5 o'clock Eastern time. We know July 28 is open up for the UFA. I don't want to mention too much about the compliance buyout here. I just want to, maybe you can read about that. That would be a better way to understand about the buyout compliance happening in NHL. But the second thing I want to mention to you is this one over there, right? The waiver. A player can only be bought out after clearing unconditional waiver. A waiver claimed by another team preempts the buyout process. If a player has a no movement clause on his contract, the player can reject the option, the waiver, and proceed to the buyout process. A 35 years old plus contract, a buyout of a 35 plus contract, they are 2 years long or longer, and as a signing bonus at the second or later year, or is a front loaded, will not benefit from a reduced cap hit. The cap hit will remain structured as was before the buyout. The benefit of the 35 years old contract buyout with no cap hit reduction is that the player will not count towards the 23 roster limit, and the salary owed to the player is reduced by 1/3. The signing bonus we talked about earlier to you guys. The signing bonus are paid to the player regardless of a buyout. Therefore, as explained in the buyout cap hit formula above, signing bonus are excluded in the equation when determining the total buyout cost and are included in the AAV value when is determining the remaining cap hit. So really important to understand now the signing bonus, also about the situation for a buyout players. Now, what happening there? We just explained all the rules, the 26 years old, the 35 years old, the waiver situation, and the signing bonus. That's really the biggest rules in NHL for buyout candidate. Now, here is a couple example. I'm not saying they're going to be buyout. It's an example. So I don't want to say, oh, Coach Frenchy won those players. And just give you an idea what's happening with the contract. Example, Tony DeAngelo right now for the New York Rangers, what a lot of people talk about. Salary remaining, $5.3 million. Buyout cost, $1.76 million. The cap hit for this upcoming season, $383. And after that, the year number 2, 22-23, is $883,000. Jake Gardiner for the Carolina Hurricanes, salary remaining $8.65 million. The cost to buy him out, $5.76 million. The cap hit, $1.29. After that, $1.04. And then after that, the next 2 years after that, $1.44 million. Now the Milan Lucic, $3.5 million remaining. Cost to buy him, $2.33. All right, is older at $26 million. Right, so that's where he got the 2/3. The cap hit for this upcoming is right flat, $3.57 million. After that, he go to $4.88. Then after that, drop at $10,000 for 2 years. And then you can go like this for Tyler Johnson, Sergei Bobrovsky, and Zach Parise. So you can look about those examples. Now, the best way to understand when you want to see one of your favorite players, if you buy him, go to www.capfriendly.com/buyout calculator. That's where you're going to find a way if you want to check, like example, Jonathan Huberdeau or, I don't know, Connor McDavid, if he's going to be buy out, what's happening about that one over there. And finally, I want to mention also other players could be buy out the next couple of days on my book. Eric Johnson for Colorado, Keith Yandel for Florida, James Neal, Martin Jones, Mikko Koskinen, Anton Stenman, Louis Eriksson, Paul Biron, Leo Komarylov, and finally, Matt Zuccarello. My point here, guys, is possible those teams buy one. Now, because the expansion draft, some of them I just mentioned to you have no movement clause. So they have to ask him about that opening this, but possibly have a negotiation with Seattle Kraken to get them inside their team. And they have a negotiation, maybe the buyout, everything like that. That's happening in the past. And also those players can have a buyout. And then they get renegotiate their contract and get play for cheaper. Example, Kyle Turris, example from the Nashville, got a buyout, and then the Edmonton Oilers offer him a new contract. I think he was at $1.2 or $1.5 million. That's also possible. So the players get a remaining contract for years after years, and then he renegotiate a new contract with the new team at lower price, and he can get also that money. So that's conclude this video about the buyout. Please don't hesitate to leave a comments and click on the likes and subscribe to the Hockey Nation Live Show on Facebook and also on YouTube channel. And please tell me what you think about this. If you don't too much understand, DM me. I will explain more. And don't forget to, like I said, to go on the websites called capfriendly.com/buyout to calculator. You're going to understand more how this works. So thanks again for watching another great video of the Hockey Nation Live Show. Like we do at the end of each video, I just want to remind you one more thing. You have greatness inside of you. Have an amazing, great day. Bonne journée, mes amis. On se reparle un peu plus tard.